Hey scholars, welcome to chapter 21, where today we're looking at solid and hazardous waste. So we've kind of talked about air pollution, water pollution, and now we're looking at solid and hazardous waste and how we deal with that. So one of the case study is on e-waste, which stands for electronic waste, and it's been the fastest growing solid waste problem in the recent decades because of the fact that technology has caught on and we're in kind of that technological age where everything's evolving and changing. As it's changing and evolving, new things are coming out, and we all want the newest and the best, so we have to dispose a lot of the old, and that has become a problem for us. And some of the reasons why it's a problem is that the composition of the electronic or e-waste is made up of high-quality plastics, which are hard to break down, valuable metals, which are hard to extract and take apart, and also toxic and hazardous pollutants, and then those get into the atmosphere and in the water, and how do we deal with those? That's really the biggest problem that we're seeing, is because what these electronics are made out of is really causing the problem. What happens in the core case study is that a lot of times our pollution here in the United States is shipped, as far as e-waste goes, shipped back to if it's made from, or shipped to China. And China pays us a small amount to actually extract some of those, high valuable metals from that. But they don't do it in the best way possible, in the most eco-friendly way possible. And they're having a lot of problems as far as pollution in their country, and we're just adding to it. So the International Basel Convention, which is basically in charge of banning transferring hazardous waste from developed countries to developing countries to stop the developed countries dumping their trash on their soil. The European Union has taken the cradle-to-grave approach, where manufacturers must take back their product at the end of its life after the consumer has done what it wants to. So that's the cradle-to-grave. That's kind of what's happened in the European Union. The International Basel Convention is trying to stop developed countries from polluting e-waste on developing countries. So what should be done with e-waste? Again, recycling, taking those things apart properly, and then reusing some of those materials. E-cycling. Reusing would be good. Maybe you can use them for something different, or prevention approach, removing the toxic materials of what we're putting into these electronic devices, and that would eliminate most of our problem as far as the environmental pollution part. So let's take a look at what are solid waste and hazardous waste, and why are they problems. There was just one example of it with e-waste. Let's take a look at solid waste. Well, solid waste is the unwanted and discarded material that we produce that's really not a liquid or solid, or a liquid or a gas. It is solid. The industrial solid is produced by mines, agriculture, and industries, where we have municipal solid waste, or MSW, is garbage or trash from your home, workplace, or in most of your daily life stuff. Hazardous toxic waste is then the dangerous stuff that comes from either of those two places, and that can threaten human health or environment because of its poisonousness, I guess, or its poison, its dangerous chemical reactivity, and its ability to be corrosive or flammable. So those are the three different types of waste. The third one can be, actually, it could be made up of and be parts of municipal or industrial solid. Hazardous waste, there's different types of those. The organic compounds like solvents, pesticides, PCBs are examples. Toxic heavy metals, lead, mercury, arsenic. Then also radioactive waste that can be a problem as well. So those are all of our hazardous waste, and there's what solid waste looks like, broken down into three categories. So we throw away 80 to 90% of hazardous waste produced by developed countries. So 80-90% of all hazardous waste is happening because of us. Why should we reduce solid waste? Well, 3/4 of the materials are unnecessarily a waste of Earth's resources. So we don't even, I should say unnecessary, but packaging and things like that, transportation of goods, all that's really not part of the product being used. So we consider unnecessary waste of the Earth's resources. That's more than what the product is. Huge amounts of air pollution, greenhouse gas, and water pollution are attributed to solid waste itself. So there's a couple of reasons why we really need to deal with it a little bit better. What kind of harmful chemicals are in your home, or what would be MSW, or I guess it would be hazardous chemicals, based off of municipal solid waste. And these are cleaning supplies, disinfectants, drain, toilet, window cleaners, spot removers, septic tank cleaners, paint products, dry batteries, glues, cements, in gardening, weed killers, ant and rodent killers, automotive gasoline, motor oil, antifreeze, battery acid, brake and train. All of that stuff can be very, very harmful chemicals that shouldn't be disposed of lightly anyway. Let's take a look. Solid waste in the United States. We are the leader in solid waste production, we're the leader in the solid waste problem itself. What is thrown away? Lots of different stuff, and we're going to see that either we have or have not done that yet, but we're going to a garbology lab where you're actually going to break down your own solid waste that you can collect in one single day. So we'll look at what's thrown away then. We are the leader in trash production by weight per person. On average, the common person produces 4.5 pounds of trash a day, or of solid waste a day. And that's 3/4 of that is dumped into landfills and long-term storage. So not really broken down or recycled or anything like that. Recycling is helping, though. The average annual production is leveling off. It's not continuing to grow like it was. So recycling is helping, but it's not really helping to drive down. It's helping to like keep sustained and kind of hold at a certain average. A case study in trash production recycling in New York City, the past, present, and future. In 1920, 1940, it had the highest trash due to the coal ash that was produced in the industries in New York City. 1962 to 63 was the lowest trash because coal burning phased out. So we kind of did away with coal burning and burnt different fuel sources. So we were actually at the lowest trash of its time. 1964 to 74, 10-year span, we had a rise in trash due to throwaway containers. And that was kind of caused that rise in trash amounts. And in 1999, mandatory recycling was enacted. Unfortunately, that came a little too late because in 2001, the Fresh Kills landfill, which is in Staten Island, which is one of the largest of its kind, closed to trash hauling. So now what New York has to do is literally ship their and move their trash to a totally different location because they can't let it build up in the city. So a lot further away, and that's using a lot more resources. So that's one case study for us. So that brings us down to section 21-1. We're going to look at how to deal with all this solid waste stuff in the next section. We'll see you guys next time.